As a sales manager, your number one job is to facilitate the sales team's performance. And how do you do that? Well, first, you've got sales reps that probably aren't going to be performing so well. If everyone was a superstar, there'd be no need to have a sales manager. But every team needs a sales manager, because without a leader, no one is rowing in the same direction. How we change the sales reps' behavior is by having a one-on-one meeting. In that one-on-one meeting, it's not a pipeline review, it's not just a check-in, it's a conversation to develop the sales rep and to work on all of their weak points, to coach them, to provide them guidance, to build alignment between their personal goals and their business goals, to uncover any blockers early, anything that could be showing up that could block their performance months down the line. And finally, it's to be able to reinforce culture, mindset, and accountability. By you holding the reps accountable, by having that meeting in the diary, they know deep down if there's something that's not right and they're not performing and they're not doing their job, they have to be able to have this conversation with you every single week. Most sales managers, when you watch their one-to-ones, it's so surface level, it's not going to provide any change. Think about you being their personal coach. You're developing their career, because as they improve, you get better performance from them, which means you make more commission as a sales manager. A sales manager's commission is based upon the performance of others. So the highest leverage thing you can do is to take 45 to 60 minutes every single week and sit with every single team member and to build out an individual plan with each rep. The problem is, most of the one-to-ones that sales managers run are very reactive. So they'll say to the sales rep, so how's this week going? What challenges are here? What deals have you got coming in? Who's going to come over the line? Let's review your hot list. It's so vague and so surface level, it doesn't actually develop the sales rep's career. It doesn't allow them to improve. Number one thing that you want to do is to find out their deeper desire and goals. Why is that sales rep doing that job? Most people think it's just about the commission. It's just about getting paid. I can tell you this from managing thousands of sales reps. Many sales reps do not care about how much money they earn. Some of them want to be valued. Some of them want to be appreciated for their hard work. They want to gain a skill. They're learning sales because they actually enjoy selling. It's not just about, I can make commission. Commission is the output after doing all the things that they learn to enjoy and they become skilled at. But before you run this one-to-one with any of your sales reps, you've got to be able to prepare for it. So what things do you need to bring to the sales reps one-on-one so you're prepared to have the right conversation? First thing you got to do is go through their CRM. Check their CRM hygiene. Are they moving the deals into the right stage? Is everything being behaviorally done correctly in the CRM? Are they putting notes onto the right tasks? The next thing after that is to look at their KPIs. Are they on pace with their KPIs? Are they in the green, red, or amber? Having a traffic light system built to tell them if they're off pace or on pace, and giving them that clear direction of what they have to do for it. You're going to also review some of their recent calls. Listen to up to 3 to 5 calls that the sales rep has done that week to give them up-to-date feedback on their current performance. And there's so many AI tools, you'll be able to analyze their performance so much quicker. Within the description below, there's a free community you can join. This is our community for all sales managers. There's a prompt that we have for sales managers on reviewing sales calls at scale. We review hundreds of sales calls every single week with this exact prompt. We put every call that the sales reps are having through this prompt, and then we'll also listen to 3 to 5 calls every single week. And the last thing you want to check before the one-to-one is to be able to go on Slack and to review any of their Slack's messages. So you review CRM, KPIs, calls, and Slack, and then you show up to the one-to-one prepared, knowing exactly what you spoke about last week, what was their performance goals and targets to hit that week, and reviewing their current performance and goals and bringing that to the meeting, ready to ask them the first question. Now, for the last 10 years as a sales manager, when I've had one-to-ones, I ask the same question twice. I'll always start with, so how are you doing? Most people, when you ask them how they're doing, they're like, yeah, everything's going good. Then I'll ask again, and how are you doing? How is everything? Then they'll usually give a deeper answer. So you've got to ask the first question twice. How are you? Tell me, well, how is everything going? How are you doing? People will answer it differently the second time. Your goal is to be able to understand how they're performing and how they see their week before you review their week. What most people do wrong here is they'll bring their performance from their week and analyze it and have all this stuff at the top of their mind, like they're not doing this and they're not doing that, and they'll bring it to the conversation and say, hey, you're not doing all these things, why is this not being done, or why is this not being done? If you start the conversation like that, you're going to absolutely burn bridges with the sales rep and they're not going to want to work with you. So you want to be able to do a shit sandwich, and the shit sandwich is where you give them bread, the shit, and the bread again. And the bread is all the good things they've been doing. So with the bread, you're going to say something like, I noticed on your last call that you did change the way you're pitching now from our training last week. So I just want to say well done for taking on that feedback. Really good job. But there is some things that you need to improve. Is it okay if I run through them with you? And now you're going to give them all the shit. You're going to say all the things that they've been not doing so good. Now remember, when you're giving them the shit in this sandwich, giving them the feedback of all the things they can improve, if there's 10 things they need to improve, if you give them all 10, it'll be so overwhelming they can't improve all 10 of them. They can only improve 3 points every single week. So you're going to give them up to 3 bits of feedback, even though you might have 10 bits of feedback and training for them. Give them 3 bits of feedback and save the next for the next week, because then it gives them less to focus on. So you're going to give them bread, you're going to give them the shit, which is the 3 points that you want them to work on, and then the bread again. And that is pretty much where you end with something positive. Okay, I know there's some 3 things you need to work on here, and it might not sound so positive, but I do still think you've been doing a good job on this area. And then your coaching is now wrapped with genuine feedback that they need to improve, but also the good things they've been doing. We're so easy to criticize and say what people need to improve. We forget completely that these people are emotional beings. If we hurt their emotions too much, and if we put them in a state of fear, put them in a state of being alarmed, that hurts your ability to earn, because now they're not in a mindset state to be able to perform. Think of your sales reps like athletes. You want them to be completely focused on getting the job done. Your job as a sales manager is to create that perfect environment so they want to work and they want to reach flow state, where they're on every single call, completely dialed in. They find out all the things about the prospect and they're able to sell to them. When they get a no, the rejection doesn't hurt them, and they move on to the next call. And all the off the call SOPs in terms of the CRM and all of the follow-ups that they need to do are being done correctly. When you give them this feedback and it's not going to throw them off the game, and it's done in a shit sandwich or done in a structured manner, they're going to be able to handle it far better. And they're going to be able to stay focused on the task, which is keeping their close rate as high as possible, keeping their follow-up rate as high as possible, following up with all the leads, chasing up people, emailing, calling, doing everything relentlessly. Their mindset has to be that they can only make money when they go above and beyond. The sales reps that are just going to do the bare minimum are going to be the ones that actually fail. The ones that go above and beyond are doing significantly more volume than everybody else, usually 50 to 60% more volume than everybody else who's doing okay in the team. So if someone is an okay team member and they do, let's say, 100 reach outs after follow-ups, or however they handle the CRM data, whatever sort of outreach they're doing after the call, a good sales rep with a higher close rate is just doing far more. The amount of volume they're doing is not just a smaller degree better, it's a significant degree better. It's at least 50%, and that's why they perform so much better. And if you've got nothing positive to say, ask them from the wins that week. So if you don't have any positive feedback for them, ask them, so what wins have you had this week? What's been good? If they say nothing, if they're not sure, you're going to say, come on, there must be something. What was there? And your job is to dig. It's actually no different to a sales call. On a sales call, you're asking questions to be able to get the prospect to give you all their pains and problems. When you're coaching someone, you're asking all the questions so they can answer all the questions themselves. So if they also tell you, I'm struggling a lot at the moment, I'm not able to do good follow-ups, how should I do them? The first thing you're going to say is, that's good, okay, with follow-ups, how do you do them right now? Or how do you think you should do them? What do you think is a perfect follow-up system? Rather than giving them the answer. Because if you ask them the question and they answer it for you, you're going to find that they're going to be able to understand it far better when they've answered it. When someone answers a question themselves, they're able to contextualize that learning so they understand what happens next time. If you give them the answer and tell them, that's not learning. Teaching someone is where they tell you the answer. So by the end of them being taught, they repeat back exactly what it is. If you tell someone something and they haven't absorbed it yet, they're not going to be able to understand it to the degree where when you're not there, they're still able to carry it out. There's a big difference between someone knowing something and someone understanding something. Telling them on how to do a certain action is them knowing what to do. And them understanding why it's so important will make sure it gets done, because it gets done with the right motive and the intention behind it. At the end of the one-to-one, they're going to have clear accountability of all the things they need to do. So write down the 3 points that they need to work on. Allow them to tell you all what they're going to do to improve on those things. So tell me, how are you going to make sure you fix this throughout these next 7 days? Okay, great. So when we come in the next 7 days, are you going to be able to have X, Y, Z done? Yes. Your one-to-ones are the only time where you can do this in a safe environment. Your job is to create a safe environment for their ego to be dropped and them to learn. Sales reps have high ego. The best sales reps are the ones with the highest ego at times, because they have this inherent belief that they're going to be better, because their self-belief is what drives them. So if their self-belief is so high and they believe they're better than everybody else, imagine what their behavior is going to be like. You need to be able to break down things for a sales rep on their level. If you can get high performance sales reps to perform even better, that's another level of sales management, which takes great coaching and great understanding. If this video is useful to you on how you can change the behavior of sales reps so they can make you more money, comment, tell us what you learned in this video, and share if you think it's valuable to others. I'll catch you in the next one.